Hey, hi, and hello. Welcome back to my show. As I mentioned last episode, we're going to start this one off with some disclaimers. Disclaimer number 1. That's my opinion. This whole episode is going to be my opinion. So it's okay to disagree, but remember to keep an open mind. Disclaimer number 2. If you didn't get that reference, then it's going to be a tough, rocky road for you, baby. I'm sorry to say. I want to start this one off by asking a question. You know that feeling when you get a good burger, like a really good burger, aesthetically pleasing to the eye, looks almost too good to eat, and you're wondering, where do I start? Well, this podcast is my burger, and I've been struggling trying to figure out where to start. See, I had everything mapped out, and then last week I clicked publish and immediately started backtracking on my approach. I'm already so heady, worried about how I'm going to be perceived, but not so much by you guys, but by myself. See, I want to talk about things that I observe in this world, but I also want to start to envision the idea of new, true novelty. Because as most of us know, in some sense, all ideas are just recycled versions of other ideas and so on. It leads me to truly wonder when there will be something new, something that we can't even conceptualize because it's so new. Until then, though, we have to innovate the things that we already have. Technology, medicine, communication, science, etc. And the way I want to innovate those things is kind of like bringing the world back to the hive mind that we already are in, but complete, in unison. If you're religious, you most likely have the belief that we're all brothers and sisters, and in a way, we all are one. Well, it's something like that. There are a couple ways I can tackle this topic: the 16 archetypes concept, the Rick and Morty episode, or just the overall thought that could be anyone and anyone could be me, because it's true. I would only jokingly say that could never be me, because half the time, it already was me. I'm going to keep it a band. It was me. Yes, indeed. Hands up. We all have these thoughts that we're all having the same experiences, living the same lives, just in comparing little things that we all do. Pretending to be asleep in the car as a kid, to get carried inside, the guilty pleasure we keep as adults, like watching Riverdale. We have these thoughts in passing and just think it's a funny happenstance, but what if it wasn't? I don't believe in coincidences, and I'm starting to believe more in the fact that I am always right where I need to be to get to the next quote-unquote point in my life. So again, what if these weren't coincidences? What if birth were a drop ball machine, and you have about 16 different places to land? And if you believe in reincarnation, what if, after each life, your ball dropped again and landed somewhere new? In the realm of this thought, some lives are more common than others. And then you have the extremes: extreme poverty or extreme wealth, extreme health or extreme illness. Somewhat fortunate that most of us end up in the leveled out center of everything. I feel like occasionally we have the forethought to put ourselves in another person's shoes, but I think it should be far more often than that. We can't walk around thinking everyone in the world is out to get us, that everything negative that we're experiencing is intentional. I know it's easy to throw out, maybe that person didn't cut you off, maybe they're just human and forgot their exit, or other people have bad days too, maybe you weren't the target of their anger or frustration. But if we start to live in that a little bit more, and not even a little bit more, a bit more, within reason, of course, because the discussion of the capabilities of man is for another time, because there's a lot that goes into that as well. If we start to live in that a little bit more, I believe we'd kind of configure to each other, and then a series of synchronized events will play out in unison. Everything is so discordant nowadays in about 5 key ways: division, complacency, and a self-concerned approach to life, along with the lack of perspective and the biggest problem, a lack of solutions. It's like a bunch of soloists were brought together with slightly modified sheet music and were told to play as an orchestra. Everyone is doing their own thing, and I know some people might say, well, yeah, what else are we supposed to do? And the answer is to work together. I will not live on this big green and blue, slowly turning gray earth without the thought that mayhaps we are here for something larger than ourselves, you know? Like, don't you ever wonder what we're working towards? I can't believe that we're here just to be for ourselves. It's literally against our nature to be isolated and alone. There has to be an overall purpose for the human race, and I believe it is to assimilate to one another in complete harmony. Now, hear me out. This is completely idealistic, and I'm not going to say that I know what comes after that, but obviously, with the way the world is going now, we are killing ourselves and each other and the earth, drinking from a well that has been poisoned since the discordance began, all the way back to maybe the second after the Big Bang. The funny thing about the Big Bang, though, is that everything came into place perfectly to create the world. Everything synchronized and became one, which leads me to wonder that even with the thought of us needing to work towards bigger things, you have to question if we're all on track to completion or if only some of us are, and if we're all where we need to be or if only some of us are. It's about time that we opened our minds up to things that we don't know or expect, things that only become real if enough minds experience and remember and live in sync with each other. The government already released documents that tell of supernatural abilities and occurrences, and majority of us went, I knew it. And then back to our regularly scheduled programming. Challenge every thought that you have. Really ask yourself if that thought comes from you or from everything and everyone around you. And do it again and again and again until you take nothing at face value, until you uncover more and more about the world and yourself that you never thought you'd experience. I think where I'm going to leave this one is that science and religion are sort of an overview. They explain the bare minimum of the things that we experience and learn, but when it comes to everything surrounding that, we have to use our own discretion. We all know that things are more complicated than, if you do this, you're a sinner, or science tells us that these things happening in the brain are not quote-unquote normal, because everyone is a sinner and no one is really normal. We cannot continue to accept what's been fed to us. We have to cultivate a new land. That's where I'm going to end this one now. Thank you guys so much for listening. Be on the lookout for a bonus episode sometime this weekend because I'm going to do a smoking chat. And I will see you guys next week on Thursday. Bye.